before I get to James, I would like to thank my family because in today's day and age, everyone here, well, I know you guys all know someone who's gay because you're here. But whether you know it or not, you're going to be related to someone who's gay. And I think everyone always wants to believe they'll do the right thing. I can tell you my family has done the right thing. When I came to my parents' house and broke into their house at 2 in the morning after the Cure concert.
That's what it took, the Cure.
Because my sister called me and I was talking to her and she wanted me to know how much she loved me and that no one cares. And I had never, ever, ever breathed a word or felt a feeling of being gay, but always knew I was. And she sat there and she says, "Do you know what you mean to me? And that I love you as much as I love my own children." And I told her if she breathes a word of this again, I will never speak to her again. I got home. I swam out in the ocean because I was living with Allison Hogan on the beach. Swam out in the ocean and decided to go to my parents' house at 2 in the morning. I broke into their house and bawling uncontrollably. I had a couple cocktails. And my mom had already been in her car accident, so she's laying in bed. And my dad's next to her. And my dad wakes up. "Jesus Christ, are you drunk? Were you in a car accident? Are the police here?" And I'm like, "I have to tell you guys something." And as I was shaking and bawling, and I told them I was gay. And my mom goes, "Who cares? Nobody cares." I have to tell you guys something. The hardest thing about being gay, if you will, is coming out to yourself. And the fact that every single person is here means that you mean the world to James and I. That you have helped shape who we are. You have always accepted us for who we are when we didn't even know who we were. And the fact that everyone here, some are parents, some are new parents, and most will be parents, I pray that when someone comes to you and tells you who they are, you accept them like my family has accepted me. And I have to give kudos to my brothers because my mom must have called my brothers early in the morning because I woke up at 6 a.m. to Rob and Glenn at the base of the bed that I was born in. And I was so hungover. And I think I forgot what I had done. And my brother Rob and Glenn are there and like, "What the hell is wrong with you? No one cares. Do you think we care?" So I pray that you all do the same thing when you do when someone comes out, because I am very, very, very lucky to live a life that I choose to live of who I am. And very few people, straight or gay, live a true life. And I'm very lucky that from a girlfriend of mine here, Laura, turned around and said, "Okay, you're out now, right?" She goes, "Now I need to introduce you to the gays." So she introduced me to John and Cliff at Rosie's. And then from there, a girlfriend there who was the hostess, Vanessa, said, "I have a guy I want you to meet." And I'm like, "Okay, just tell me he's a man and he's normal and he doesn't do drugs." And so Vanessa introduced me to James. As my sister likes to say, I'm an interviewer. My first tape, we sat there for 3 hours and I said, "Are you out to your family? Are you out at work? Do you want kids? Do you do drugs?" Because if you check wrong on any of those boxes, there's no reason to move forward. And then he said, "In the end, I'd love to be a stay-at-home soccer dad." And I'm like, perfection. So on behalf of myself, I want to thank James for knowing me and still loving me. And as neurotic as I am and as controlling as I can be about everything in my life, for those of you who said I'm nicer now, it's because of him. And as crazy it is, when I look at myself and I think about who I'm becoming, I keep James in mind, and it's horribly cheesy, but every day he makes me want to be better and better and better. He makes me want to be nicer to people, which is hard. He tells me not to judge as often as I do, and I tell him I'm critiquing. So I want to thank all of you, and thank James.
Jimmy G! 6.5 years. It took us 6.5 years to do this. 6.5 years of getting to know him. 6.5 years of getting to know his family.
Okay, just so you know, our second date, I brought him to meet my family.
Wow.
Speak louder. 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 Also 6.5 years of getting to know myself. We spend a lifetime on a journey to who we are. A journey of discovery, a journey full of adventures, let's hope. And Scott's been my greatest adventure. Not at all what I was looking for. Couldn't imagine being with somebody that traveled so much. That was a little party animal. But, yes. What?
A big party animal.
But somehow, it's my balance. The world's full of balance, the yin, the yang. Somehow, we work. It's our relationship we've created. It's what I've always wanted and never knew. And so thank you for sharing your life with me, because it's made mine so much better.
Samuel was getting a little frustrated with God, and he kept saying, "What's wrong with these men? They're beautiful men, they're wise men, they're good-looking men." And God said to Samuel finally, he said, "I don't look at men the way men look at men. Man looks at the outward appearance. I look at the heart." And finally, Samuel looked at Jesse and he said, "Is there any other sons that you have?" And Jesse said, "There's one, but he's just a small lad. He's a shepherd boy." He said, "Bring him to me." And he did. And that lad's name was David. And he became the greatest king Israel ever knew. And when Jesse looked upon him, he anointed him with oil, and he was the king of Israel. And the point of this story is that God looks upon the heart of man. And if we would do the same thing, if we would not spend so much time looking out the outward appearance of men, of our circumstances, because James said it, he never thought he would fall in love with a guy that traveled as much as he does, that works as hard as he does, that can be a bit of a smart aleck now and again. I did work with the guy. But the truth of the matter is sometimes in a relationship it can get frustrating. I was married for 37 years, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy to maintain a long-term relationship, as we all know. Sometimes it can be hard. Sometimes it can be difficult. Sometimes relationships can have their trials. But if we can look at the heart of the matter, we can get through it. Sometimes our jobs can be trying. Sometimes finances can be tough. Sometimes children can get sick. All of those things can happen. Sometimes life doesn't work out the way we want it to work out. But if we can stop and look at the heart of the matter, we can get through those tough times. When I look at Scott and James, I look at two really handsome men. They're handsome, good-looking guys. A little bit. I mean, let's get real here. Who's a pretty girl? But when I look at their hearts, I see good, kind, compassionate, decent, generous men. That's what I see when I look at their hearts. I can only imagine what God sees. Aw.